am delighted to say that we're going to be looking at seeing the unseen, how AI revolutionizes the future of health and healthcare. And to take us through this, I am delighted to invite on stage Dr. Ismail Arbabi, the Medical Director and Consultant Ophthalmologist at Moorfields Eye Hospital in Abu Dhabi, and I reside there, so I'm going to give him a big round of applause for please coming on stage.
Thank you very much.
Dr. Ismail, the stage is yours.
Thank you very much. Wouldn't it be amazing that when you go to your local high street, wouldn't it be amazing that when you go to your local high street optical shop to buy a pair of glasses, at the same time, your optician take a photo, a snap photo at the back of the eye and give you a detailed report outlining the real risk factor of developing different systemic diseases, not only ocular diseases, but systemic diseases. This is essentially the North Star of our AI system, which Moorfields London has developed, and I'm honored to be here to talk about this advanced AI system. Now, I'm sure the eyes are the window to the soul. I'm sure most of you have heard this phrase because both modern and ancient literature are filled with references to the immense power our eyes hold. Now, phrases like this has been used metaphorically for many centuries. However, with advances in AI system and the techniques of deep learning, there actually may be some element of truth and literal meaning to these phrases. Now, the eyes actually may hold the key to early diagnosis and detection of many systemic conditions. Now, this is a photo of the back of the eye. How many of you know if this is a normal retinal photo or abnormal? A quick show of a hand. Who thinks this is a normal retinal photo? That's right. This is actually a normal retinal photo. Now, if you show this photo to even the most experienced ophthalmologist, it will tell you exactly like you predicted, who are non-ophthalmologists, this is a normal retinal photo, and they cannot add anything else to that. However, if you show the same exact photo to our advanced AI system, the story changes. From the normal retinal photo, our AI system will tell you this is a woman, she is non-smoker and non-diabetic, and it can even predict the age of this patient as well as the body mass index. Not only that, it can also tell you that this particular patient is at risk of Parkinson's disease within the next 7 years. So, ladies and gentlemen, what this shows, there are a wealth of information locked within a retinal image that even the most experienced ophthalmologist who has been obsessively looking at the back of the eye day in, day out for decades cannot see. And this is exactly what I mean, seeing the unseen. Now, although the ophthalmologist cannot see this, we can train an AI to look for subtle changes within the eye, within the retina, and tell us many systemic conditions like heart disease, Parkinson's disease, and stroke, for example. Now, you may ask yourself, why should we be able to diagnose or detect systemic condition from just a photo at the back of the eye? Well, the eye is very unique. It is very complex, and it is an extension of our brain. It is the only organ where we can see the optic nerve, which give us access to the central nervous system, which is the second cranial nerve, but also we can see retinal arteries, veins, and capillaries in their most natural status, undisturbed, undissected. And this is, ladies and gentlemen, give us access to the full body. Now, we know for a long time, many diseases start to show subtle changes within retinal microvascular structures, as well as the nervous system, before even a disease can manifest itself or can be diagnosed. So we can use this advantage to develop specific and sensitive biomarkers to look for early detection of many systemic diseases, as I said, many neurodegenerative diseases and cardiovascular diseases, amongst others. But then the question is, how do we tease out these subtle information within the normal retinal photo, or what appears to be normal retinal photo, to develop these specific biomarkers? The answer is that we need to develop an advanced AI system. Now, to develop an advanced AI system, we need big data. And I really mean big data. Now, we are very lucky that at Moorfield Eye Hospital, we do have this big data. This is Moorfield Eye Hospital in London. In actual fact, we have the world's largest biosource of ophthalmic images, actually the Insight database that we have, which is larger than top 5 US centers put together. And this is very unusual for a UK center to have more digital images than USA, which is much bigger countries. However, having such a large ophthalmic biobank is not enough to detect systemic diseases. But this is why we were given access by UK government to another gold mine of data, the HES system, or Hospital Episode Statistics. What this has, it actually a national database that records every single inpatient admission to any hospital in England, every single outpatient appointment to any clinic in England, and every single accident emergency attendances anywhere in England. And now combining those together can give us a huge advantage. So in another word, we were given by UK government to look at the retinal images and link them to the hospital episode statistic. So if you were a patient, you had a retinal scan at Moorfields, London, and a few years later, you went to another part of the country, say, for example, Manchester, and God forbid, you had a stroke. We actually were given permission to look at those data and go back to look at the retinal image you had a few years earlier at Moorfield Eye Hospital and look for those changes, and look for those biomarkers, and look for patterns that could indicate who has or developing those sensitive biomarkers. And this is, ladies and gentlemen, what gave birth to the RedFound, our advanced AI system, which has been developed by our team, led by Professor Pierre Skeen, who is a consultant ophthalmologist at Moorfields Eye Hospital in London, but he's also a professor of AI at UCL College in London. Unfortunately, he couldn't be here to give this talk. I would have loved to hear this talk from himself. He's the developer of the AI system, but he kindly gave me permission to present this talk. So essentially, the story started back to 2016 when Professor Pierre Skeen started collaborating with the founder of Google DeepMind and many other entities to start the engine on this momentous machine. And the RedFound, so within 2 years of starting, the proof of concept was accepted actually in the journal Nature. And fast forward 5 years later, the RedFound, or the AI system, was finally released to the public. Again, the result was published in journal Nature. And what's more important, this advanced AI system were actually made free to the public for non-commercial use, so it could form a cornerstone for future research and development, and to supercharge this AI machine by everywhere and everyone across the globe. So you may ask yourself, what's so particular? Why the RedFound is such an important game changer? Well, the RedFound is the first foundation model in ophthalmology and one of the first foundation model in any medical field. And what's different between RedFound and many other AI systems in other medical fields is that actually, unlike other AI models, it learns from itself. It uses unlabeled images, learn from itself, and this is the most important part. Now you may ask yourself, what's such a big issue about learning by itself and unlabeled images? But currently, the RedFound has been trained on 1.6 million images. And the goal is to train it on 20 million images. that we have at our inside database at Moorfield Eye Hospital. Now, to do that, if you don't have a self-learning machine, you need to get an expert ophthalmologist to go through every single of the 20 million images and label them before feeding to the machine. You could imagine this is a momentous task, very time-consuming, is almost impossible. Now, if you have an ophthalmologist who working 5 days a week, 8 hours every single day, and labeling 10 to 20 images every single hour, who's good at maths? How long will it take them to label 20 million images? 20 years? 50 years? A lifetime? It actually will take them 500 to 1,000 years to label 20 million images. So that is why we need advanced AI systems that do not rely on labeled images or labeled images, but we can give them raw data and let them learn from itself. So what in RedFound we've done, as I say, we give him humongous amount of raw, unlabeled images and let it learn from itself. But then down the stream, we give them only a few images to fine-tune the system. And what we show that this could be used in detecting early detection and diagnosis of many sight-threatening conditions such as diabetic retinopathy, glaucoma, and also detection and progression of other diseases such as macular degeneration, which are very, very common conditions within the eye. But not only that, and what's even more impressive, we show that it can predict systemic diseases such as ischemic stroke, myocardial infarction, heart failure, and even Parkinson's disease. And of course, this is the start of something very, very big, but this system is starting to show fruits and become very, very big project. So then what is our North Star with this project, where we want to go? So the main goal of the project with time would be actually to move early detection of diseases from invasive blood vessel and procedures in the hospital to be diagnosing everyone at the high street optical shop where you go and buy your glasses. And all you have to do is just take a photo of the back of the eye, which actually we could do by just putting a lens at the front of the eye or the front of your camera. It can be very, very easily scaled up across the globe, basically. So of course, we're not there yet, but this is the direction we're going, and the system seems promising. As I said, we only have 20 million images only at Moorfield Eye Hospital. So can you imagine, once we get all these data from all other hospitals across UK, across the globe, across UAE, that could be the game changer. And what's important is that if you look at the hospital in UK, for example, once you're 40 years and over, you get invited to attend for what we call cardiovascular health checkup, free of charge from your GP, which is only in UK, there's many of them. There's basically 10, 20 minutes away from you. But only 9% of people go to get this blood test, this important blood test, to check for the cardiovascular risk factor, cholesterol, high blood pressure, diabetes. But compare that to how many patients go to their optical shop to get eye checkup and get glasses. 80% at the same period. So that by in itself, it shows that we can detect so many more diseases by making this available in an optical shop than being in the hospital-based environment. So as I said, the goal would be then, you go to your optical shop, you get your glasses, at the same time you have a retinal photograph. The retinal photograph will be fed to the machine, to the AI machine, and hopefully we're hoping that will soon become like a small app which we all have in our pocket, or every optical shop would have it. You feed it the image and it comes with a report there and then, detailing important information about your systemic health, your general health, and predicting your risk of developing different systemic diseases. And we know for many systemic diseases, we can do something to either slow it down, or even prevent it, including dementia. There are many things we could do to decrease the chance of getting dementia. Now, unfortunately, a lot of us will not do that. But if we have a system who accurately tell us we are at risk of getting dementia in 7 years, I'm sure that will be enough motivation to change our diet, lifestyle, and many different things. And ladies and gentlemen, this is what we're hoping to achieve with this advanced AI system, and it is already, as I said, in the public domain, and a lot of people using that foundation model, as I say, to supercharge it. So I leave the floor now to any questions that anyone has, and thank you very much for your kind attention. Thank you.
I'm Naseem from Tawam Hospital, Alain. I just had one question. It's an awesome product that you were displaying. I was just wondering if the same could be scaled up, you think, in future, like the same photo that you'll have to go to the optical shop. Do you think it can come on our iPhones in future? Or even on the airports where they actually do a retina scan, if it could be put there? I would see that would bring a lot of value, even in terms of governments of the different countries, where they could literally scan every person in their country and accordingly scale up their healthcare systems based on all the systemic diseases and all that you described.
Exactly, that's exactly what the goal of the system is actually, and one of the reasons that has been obviously made available free to the public so that every single country could use it. But the aim would be, obviously, the data will be cloud-based, like what most data they are, although it'll be humongous amount of data, but that will be all cloud-based, that one day we'll be able to access it through our iPhone. Now, taking a retinal photo, even high resolution, is very easy. We can do it now with just a small little attachment. You buy it for 20 dirham, 40 dirham, you put on your phone, smartphone, you can take the photograph. So taking the photograph easy. At the moment, of course, combining that and developing the app, and the hope is exactly that where we want to go, and that's what, as I said, the aim is, and that's why, of course, despite a lot of effort gone into developing that AI model, which is priceless, but that has been made available to public. Because Moorfield Eye Hospital, I'm sure you know, it is a charity hospital. It's not for profit, basically. And that's why we want to use and serve the whole humanity, not just a certain population, a certain country, but the idea was to get it to across the globe, including Africa, where people can take hopefully an image, even if they can't do it at their pocket, they can go to an optical shop, and most optical shops can have a retinal camera, which is quite cheap and quite accessible.
So do we have an app now?
At the moment, no, unfortunately, we don't have that. As I said, this is the start of this humongous machine, but if you think about it, where we come in, since we've started, is actually miles and miles. And we know that with AI, the technology becoming faster, quicker, more accurate, and that's where we want to be leading to.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Any other question? Yeah, just over there, please. Yeah.
Thank you. So I'm asking about the genetic test. Do you do genetic test systematically when there is, especially in familial conditions?
So at the moment in Morpheus, we do a lot of genetic tests, but not with this system at the moment. But of course, then, this is a foundation model. As you know, what foundation model is, you could use it for many different downstream tasks. So all it means, we give them raw data at the initially, and it goes through what we call transformation architecture learning. And then at the end, once it learns so much by itself, we can downstream give it specific labeled images. Whether it could be genetic, it could be blood test result, it could be other things. We can give it, we say, if you've seen this, with this means heart disease. So of course it could be used. And at the moment we're not using with that, but that again will be the foundation to build different diagnostic tests, not just from retinal image, but of course from other investigations as well.
And would it change your management if you find a genetic reason,
So basically what the goal is, again, a lot of diseases, we know if we detect them early, whether ocular or systemic, we can usually do something about it. As I said earlier, if you know you are at very high risk of developing myocardial infarction, you will take your blood pressure pill, basically, and we can, because we've got hypertension. And of course, for hypertension, we do have very, very easy investigation, but there is still a lot of people walking out there because they cannot bother to go and check their blood pressure at their GP. As I showed that in UK, which is very the population is very well educated, and still only we've got 9% take up on the call to go to do their general health check at 40 and over, but we've got 80% going for their eye check. And we know, especially these days, more and more people requiring glasses. So if you can't see, you will be forced to go to see your optical shop. You will be forced to go to see your optician. And we use that advantage, that attendance to our advantage, to give you more than just glasses. And that will be the hope. Thank you very much. Just the lady at the back, please.
From Tanzania. I'm
Hello.
curious, from your data bank,
Yes.
have you included different geographic characteristics, like for example where I come from, developing world, and including different risks like dust and like all the other risk factors of other diseases that also can be related to the eyes, and also other diseases that you have mentioned? Does the data bank also include all of that? And what's the future of this and its application in Africa and in developing countries, areas that for people who do not even have health-seeking behaviors?
Very good question. Thank you very much. And actually, that's one huge advantage, again, we have at Moorfields being in London. It's a very ethnic, diverse group, actually. We actually, in London, you have from every single nationality, huge mixed background. But also what we're doing, we've got obviously Moorfields in Dubai and Abu Dhabi as well. We want to start feeding the data from ethnic group we have over here. And the aim is, of course, we're growing the Moorfields that we can feed it from different ethnic backgrounds. By virtue of being in London, the image we have, actually, they are from a diverse, of course, the majority will still be white Caucasian, but there's a lot of patients from African origin, from Middle East, from you name it, from other European countries, actually. But yes, that essentially the ultimate goal is to feed it more and more information with more diversity and looking at more and more diseases. So at the moment, they looked at those 3 or 4 major vascular and neurodegenerative diseases, but that doesn't mean we can stop there. I mean, the advantage, as I said, we have the ophthalmic images, but the bigger advantage we have is hospital episode statistics, and that's very unique to UK. And actually, that records the data from 1989, and it's got over 1 billion records. So you can imagine, if you can get an AI working at the background, analyzing all these images, someone who had, for example, Parkinson's disease, and looking at this retinal image, how it differ if you have 100,000 people have Parkinson's disease, and you look at the retinal image, and you say all 100,000 had this specific changes within the blood vessel, within the optic nerve, within different area within the nerve, then we can say actually everyone who had Parkinson's disease has this. So it could be possible to develop very sensitive biomarkers. As I said, still we have a very, very long way to go, but that's the cornerstone that hopefully we all together build up on it and erect it so it can serve the whole humanity. Thank you very much. Any other question? Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you. Thank you.